Hello and welcome to Day 3 2017 Australian Ultimate Championships. We're here on the stream live. We have Factory in the white and Bauhaus in the black. I am Stefan Van Boxdale, and here on the mic with me is Max Strenson. Welcome.
Thanks very much, Stefan. It's great to be here on a beautiful sunny morning. We've got a light breeze coming right to left, and we're very excited for the first of the quarterfinal matchups on the women's side of the draw. This is going to be one hell of a game.
Absolutely. We've had absolute classics already. Pool play is at a whole nother standard. It's incredible already. So quarters, semis, finals, that's today, tomorrow. We've got the best seat in the house, but we're bringing it to you, and we hope that you stick around. Share those streams. Let your friends know. Get it up on the social media pipes.
Yeah, and if you want to get involved in the conversation, shoot us a message on YouTube. We'll be responding to those if we can throughout today's play.
Now, the siren has gone. We have Bauhaus won the toss and chose the end to the right.
And Factory chose defense. So looks like we'll have Watson with the first pull of the game to get things kicking off. And Bauhaus will be playing offense. Who are the players to watch?
Key players, of course, without going into too much detail, you would expect Michelle Phillips to always shine. But besides her, Mei-Lin Shuwei, key veterans, we've got a bunch of star young players running around, very fast, athletic young players.
And there's the first pull.
Disc picked up, sent it to Mumford. She looks across field. She's got Mei-Lin free, but it's through the hands of Gear.
Yeah, Watson able to get her finger on that. She immediately gets it, looking to move quickly off that far sideline. Edie with the disc now. That's a name we'll be hearing a lot of. Very important player on this Factory line. Emerson's shot goes over the top, but Dawson's able to clean up the scraps with Ringland now. Back to Edie. She's got Watson in the front corner and hits her in front of the bidding defender.
Yeah, we're going to see that from Gear on the defence. She loves throwing herself around. I think she knew that she was not going to get close to that one, but it doesn't stop her having a bid.
Yeah, we saw some really nice offense there from the Factory line. They don't have offense and defensive lines. They just have a couple of subbing groups. As we see that goal again, getting open in the front corner. That's textbook stuff. But yeah, that line able to get a pretty easy turnover from a slight miscue from the Bauhaus offense, and then just punch it in. Nice, calm offense when they had the disc, hit the easy options.
Yeah, that was a pretty veteran line, you probably could have said, for Bauhaus. Birchall, Mumford, Phillips, Chua. I think they were expecting they wanted a calm offense. They'd be a little bit disappointed. It's the first point of the game, so they're, of course, not too stressed yet.
Yeah, lots of frisbee still to play. Maybe those first point nerves still waking up just a little bit. But they've got an opportunity now. Factory on defense. Adelaide Dennis set to pull.
Vino collecting to the centre to Baker. She's got Mihaj poached on the side. Finds Sullivan in the centre. Dinkley cuts in the middle, doesn't get free. Mihaj looks to the cutter. Looks her off. Consider at the moment, just taking the time, but Baker finding space. The high disc, great pick out of the air. Sullivan wanting a dump, and Vino picking it off the shoelaces. Andrus looking downfield. Play stalled just for that second. Mihaj into the hand.
And straight back out again, unfortunately. Factory will look to capitalise as they walk slowly up to the disc. And that's Brown picking up. She's a great pickup for this Factory team. She's played on the UK Masters team, and she's come over to Australia, and she's now plying a trade for Factory. But Holly Halford-Smith pulls down a beautiful deep shot to open her account for the game. That's a lovely offense from Factory, and out to a quick 2-0 lead. We see it again here. They get it to the high side of the field. And forehand. Halford Smith getting 2 hands to it. Beautiful throw out in front. Didn't really give the defender much opportunity to get involved.
Now, Max, you said Factory 2 even wines. Who's calling the shots? Who's calling who on? What's their deal?
So this year they're lucky to have Liz de Hoog coaching them. She's a long-time player, but unfortunately sidelined in the last little while due to some unfortunate injuries. But her wisdom and experience hugely valuable for the team. On-field leadership, of course, Adelaide Dennis, recent Firetail and reserve on the Crux team. Very capable player and a really important part of that leadership group for them. They also have Liz Eadie, another hugely experienced player, a bit of a legend of Australian Women's Ultimate, and Claire Barcham in the captain's group. Malombi set to pull.
Sure to pick up the disc, centres to Mumford. Sideline, stack, gear isolated. Finds space to say no, moves it downfield. Gear centres. Phillips keeps it moving. Players crammed in on one side of the field at the moment. Gear puts it to that outside space.
That's a lovely looking throw.
Yeah.
I really like that as an option. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite come off there.
Yeah, she recognised the space. Connection not made in this case.
And Factory get another opportunity here. Malombi walks it up to the line on the front corner of the end zone. She'll be wanting to get it off that line as quickly as possible. And she does just that, finding Watson in the centre. Finds Malombi again. She's got Dawson going deep. She shoots. Little short, but Watson. Dawson not able to reel it in, unfortunately.
Spilt. Birchall wanted that disc, or wanted the dump it away, but Stewart picks up, finds gear. That bullet through to Mumford.
And Malombi will pick up quickly, looking to get it going. Watson, Dawson again. This time Watson shoots over the hands of a couple of players. And Dawson pulls one down. So we see it again. Watson sees Dawson again. She's going to be a deep threat all game long for Factory. Very quick. Over the hands. Foster goes up. But Dawson's there. Nicely read. As a rookie, it's great to see her reading those long shots nicely already. And Factory, out of the gates, very strong. 3-0. I think Bauhaus maybe have been a little bit surprised by the intensity from Factory out of the gates. And it looks like Bauhaus have called a timeout. What would you be saying to the Bauhaus team right now, Steph?
Well, to be honest, you're not going to be giving a lot more different instructions. They're a pretty experienced team, veteran team, and it'll be reminding them of what they've worked on already. They've had big wins this tournament already. Taking out Cisco, taking out, in a close one, Rage, winning against Fuse. They're a winning team, and a lot of players have already won national championships in that team. So it's just calming them, reminding them that it's a really long game. There's so much time to come back.
Yeah, obviously still very early days, but Factory are obviously very happy with where they're at the moment. No better way to start than 3 in a row, and they'll just want to continue with that momentum. Interestingly, they've been committed to their single coverage match defense. We do have a slight breeze, but nothing that'll be hugely influential so far. In the last couple of days, however, we've seen lots of zone defense, and the wind's been a bit more of a factor. We'll see if that picks up throughout the course of the game, or if it stays relatively calm and we see more of that one-on-one defense.
Max, how has Factory gone in their previous games?
They've been doing pretty well. Obviously, into the quarterfinals. They're happy with that, and I know that was one of their main goals coming into the tournament. Get to the quarters, and then take it one game at a time. They got up over Chaos and Chicks early in the tournament, convincingly 14-10 in both games. They beat Phoenix 14-6, and then went down to Rogue Block, unfortunately, 15-4. So that's their one loss so far, and then getting up over Zig Theory 15-10 yesterday.
It's a floaty pull. Coming on, down on the near side. Dodges the line on his way down, and Stevenson's going to bring it back in the centre. Min Shannon Undress in the centre of the horror. Finds Undress. Back to Stevenson, the lone handler. Mihatch streaming back. It's risky downfield throws, finds Shuwei to the space. Bet on Mihatch to get that every day of the week. Mihatch around to Stevenson. Fantastic movement so far. This is looking like the Bauhaus we've seen before. Finds Andres at the centre. Fantastic shape in that backhand around the mark. Stevenson to Mihatch at the front of the stack. Shuwei with a shot at the end zone. She looks away. Around to Baker. They're not rushing, taking their time. This means a lot to them this point, but there's the hand block.
Oh, Ellie Seckold sticks out the left hand on the doorstep and gets the block. Factory looking to move it quickly, but I think we may have had a strip on the mark. We're lucky to have Rubenberg doing game advisor duties this game and providing nice clear signals to us, indicating that disc will come in, stalling one. Moving it immediately to Liz Eady. She'll be piloting a lot of the offense when she's on the field. And that's a foot block by the look of it.
Block for a block. Short field, and they're really going to want it this time. Stevenson's floating out into that lane space there. Oh, the floaty disc.
And that's Catherine Hind coming through. The wind got under that just a little bit. Gave her an opportunity to get involved, and she did just that. Edie with the disc now. Ringland, one of the veterans on this team. She's been with Factory since it was founded. Back to Edie. Finds Crow coming underneath. Edie shoots long. She's got Ringland underneath. And Ringland shows her veteran skills, reads it beautifully into the hand. Does a good job at getting the position she wanted in front of the defenders, preventing them getting a decent bit on it. Factory, out of the gates, 4-0.
Factory's game of very carefully choosing their mid to long shots. It's very impressive.
Yeah, it's been paying off so far as we get another look at it. See Liz Eady find player underneath, immediately wanting it back. She's a real threat with the disc in her hands and then shoots the forehand. She sees Ringland get some separation. In yesterday afternoon's game against Zig Theory, Liz Eady's forehand was a really decisive factor. Able to shoot both ways in the wind was crucial for Factory's ability to score in that game. And we see it again here. We'll see if Bauhaus is able to stop it and slow down that Factory offense. How are Bauhaus going to respond here? They've got some work to do. They're down 4-0.
Well, they're not looking bad, Max. They're playing okay, but it's a couple of drops, a couple of hand blocks in there. The stress will be going up just that little bit more. Maylin finds it on the upside field. To the space to Sano. That's it. That's the score they need. They're off the mark. Beautiful throw to the space. Sano, a Japanese import for Bauhaus this season. And a very smart receiver. Obviously it's short in stature, but fantastic positioning.
Yeah, and that's another one of those lovely cuts to the fat side of the field. Something that we see a lot from the Japanese international teams, and obviously showing where she learned her ultimate. Sano able to get open in the end zone. And a really lovely throw as well. That's great vision to see that and then throw it. It's not easy with the wind, as we said, coming towards the camera to get the right amount of touch and float on that kind of throw. We've seen people struggle with that all weekend, but Bauhaus showing why they're in the quarterfinals. Some really nice skills there. It'll be interesting to see what Bauhaus does here on defense, whether they stay with their single coverage or they look to switch things up a little bit now that they've managed to chalk their first one on the board, and it's 4-1.
Stevenson with the roller.
Dawson trying to stop the roll, gains a few yards. Liz Eady picks it up and says, I'm sorry about that, and steps it back. And there you go, Bauhaus in that zone defense.
They have a few zone looks. Looks like a wall being employed.
Watson, Deadman and Eady looking like they'll be doing most of the handler duties this point. Expect to see them chip it around. They showed their patience yesterday in the wind against the zones. We'll see how they go today. Ringland to Barcham. Now they're on the high side looking to move it quickly, not allowing the cup to reset. Watson in the centre. Finds Deadman. Ringland to Watson. Ringland again. The poppers and handlers working quite interchangeably here. And Eady goes over the top. Finds Deadman to Barcham. Just outside the end zone now. Just a few metres, but dumps back to Eady. Happy to play patient. And they find Ringland for the goal.
Great adaptation.
Yeah, very cool, calm offense there. Bauhaus trying to mix it up with the zone. And Factory up to the challenge. The veterans really stepping up. We saw a lot from Liz Eady and a lot from Shirin Ringland there. And Hope Watson.
Don't mind the zone look though. I think we needed a change up, a different idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think if you've got the tools in the toolbox, you'd be silly not to use them. As we get another look at this beautiful offense. Probably not a single pass in the whole thing, more than 5 or 10 metres. But they work it all the way up the field. Safe hands, safe throws, taking the good options. As we see here again, Liz Eady with the disc. This backhand, I think, over the top was one of the decisive moments of the point. Really opened up the options for Factory, allowing them to find the space. Difficult throw in the wind, but showing her class. And then eventually they're able to punch it in. Bauhaus back on offense this point. Do you think they'll stick with this zone that just got beaten if they turn it over, or will they go back to single coverage?
I think that's going to depend on field placement and time on the turn. Look, their experienced line, if they want to throw that, they'll be ready to go. Moment's notice. They are a tall line as well. Fantastic float across the stack from Phillips into the space. Finds Sano, using that central space very well. Gear. Transition of force there from Factory. Finds Gear on the cut. This working quite fluidly so far. Oh, the recovery from Mumford, not able to draw it in.
Another opportunity for Factory here that they will have to take it the full length of the field if they want to score. Malombi goes crossfield to Dennis.
Opportunity, big in the air. There's a touch and
Lena Hall pulls it down despite giving up a number of inches to the Bauhaus defenders around her. And Factory not able to get it through the zone this time.
Phillips roving around. Crams it into that space. Birchall has a big throw on her. She goes over the top, finds the receiver. Beautiful score. They recovered, got the disc back. Phillips manning that central area, just floating around, and looked like the throw was intended for her, the way she just put herself in the way.
Yeah, Phillips obviously very experienced, very wily defensive player, able to read the play like a book, predict where it's going to go and be there for it. So we get another look at it. You're right, it almost looked like the throw was meant for her. Able to get in front. She's got great quickness and plenty of length as well that makes it easy. Then the nice throw to the end zone for the goal. Bauhaus stringing a couple of points together now. And I think what's changed for them is just that they're lifting their execution just a little bit. A few less of those silly throwaways perhaps, and some of the less of the unforced errors. Factory defense has been working hard, but not able to actually generate a lot of blocks, or just Bauhaus making mistakes. So we'll see Factory here on offense, if they're able to punch one in and respond. Emerson to pick up on the end zone line. Moving it quickly to Air in the center. And then Dawson, and then Grange. Struggling to get a dump option.
Oh, fantastic defense from the women there. They shut down the space. Air floating around in the lanes a little bit.
Yeah, maybe one too many little jinx. Got to commit to a movement.
Mihatch deciding the break side is the place to be on the dump. The swing finds Xu Weifeng. Puts it north, thinks about putting it to the space, but no go. It's floaty. Mihatch does it. Oh, she usually drags those in. Usually very, very safe hands.
Yeah, Emerson not able to get a hand on it, but maybe able to put enough pressure to force that turnover. Factory looking to move it quickly again. To Edie. That forehand from Edie again. Catherine Hind, another one of the British imports, pulls that one down. Back to Air. Looking for Edie in the dump space. Gets it to her. Grange. Shooting across field for Halford Smith. Looking for the ANU to ANU connection. Both of them playing in their ultimate at the Australian National University, but not able to connect this time.
Yeah, a little bit of wasted opportunity. She was there in space. Throw not making a connection.
Yeah, just a little bit too much juice on that throw, not enough touch.
Bauhaus finding space quite easily on their last offense with this line, so they look to the space. That throw puts the pressure on the receiver, and Dress doesn't pull it in.
Dawson picks up the crumbs, as she often does. Emerson to Air. Dawson in the end zone. But the throw gets caught by the wind. A little bit too far. One too many Wheat Bix for breakfast.
Bauhaus on defense, sitting off the throwers there with a straight up force. They know Factory's dangerous downfield, and they want to go. Didn't stop the throw, but it caused it to be a big around throw rather than directly to the receiver. Early cut from Shuwei downfield. That asked a lot of the receiver, but Andress is gone there.
Hind able to use her height and good body position there. Though it appears there may be a foul call. by Shuwei Gross.
Both girls involved in the contest. There may have been some contact in between. Whether it affected it, well, I guess they'll talk about that.
Game advisor heading in, but retracted call. It's a great outcome in terms of spirit. This Factory fine Grange underneath.
Straight up force used again.
Factory just working out of a vertical stack, keeping it simple. Want to take advantage of their strong throwers in Edie and Air, and their athletic cutters downfield. Hind with the disc to Dawson. Maybe a high stall count situation there. Lobs a backhand, but Edie able to pull it down. Hind now on the close sideline. Not liking what she sees upfield. Nice inside forehand to Dawson. Dawson goes over the top. Halford Smith's underneath it.
Oh, takedown.
That's a lovely grab. Halford Smith giving up a few inches to the defender, but reads it beautifully. Goes up strong. Snags it one-handed. As we see it again. Hind really set up this play with this forehand here. She doesn't like what's developing, but a beautiful inside forehand. Finds Dawson. And Dawson, not known for her throwing prowess, perhaps more of a receiver, but shows she can do it all there. And hitting Halford Smith. Dawson, a rookie on this Factory team, bringing her athletic abilities to the game to great effect, as we've seen already this game. She's scored a couple, and that's her first assist for the game. She's also an aspiring writer, currently working on her first novel, so a very multi-talented individual. Factory maintaining this lead now, teams trading. Got a nice buffer. And they'll look to maintain that buffer or even extend it into half. Looks like Dennis with the disc in hand will send the pull. The big lefty backhand. Dennis's strategy is listed in the team sheet as run really fast and use the left hand. So expect to see her do both of those things.
Chua looking downfield. Gears her dump, setting up behind, reaches above.
And downfield we've got the Dennis on Phillips matchup. That's one to watch.
Up to the space to Sano. She had position. And she's disappointed. Yeah, she had that position.
Yeah, and got fingertips to it. Just not able to hold on. Factory will look to capitalise. Setting up in a side stack, isolating Dennis out in the lane. Phillips on the mark. On defence.
Oh, no need downfield. Mumford having none of that. Three handlers outside of the end zone. A vertical stack.
Expect them to look to Phillips here.
She's looking prime, ready to go. Early cut from Sano. Jink, 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 over the top, and...
That looked like really great defense by Lena Hall there, never giving her more than an inch or two of separation. And Malombi immediately reaches for Dennis over the top of the leaping Phillips. And Dennis dumps it to Ringland. As we're speaking, the wind's starting to pick up. See if that's a factor. Malombi finds Watson. Two very strong throwers will work together at this point. Dennis in front of the outstretched hand of Phillips and reaches for the end zone, but the wind pushes that one down, not allowing it to come back in for Foster.
Gear bringing the disc in. Big around. Is it even going to... It's not going to come back in the field, which means a disc comes back to the point where it exited.
Which was right with the throw as we see it again. It's a nice pivot out of the field, but the disc never comes back in. Looks like Malombi will pick up, sorry. And they'll want to isolate a player. Looks like they've got Ringland in space. The back corner of the end zone with Foster cutting in the center. The inside forehand from Malombi.
Juggle. Disc goes down. Phillips cleans up to Mumford. Gear in the center. Sano with acres of space. Chua following up. Wants a big throw and she's got it. Forehand up. Phillips. No connection.
Yeah, just in this last point, the wind's picked up, making those throws difficult, but it appears to be a foul on the throw, perhaps, or an injury. An injury call. Bircher will sub on for Bauhaus.
Did wonder about Gear was holding her hamstring as she walked up to grab the last disc when she came onto the sideline.
And Fatch will take advantage of that opportunity to sub as well. Foster going off. Crow coming on for that crucial matchup. Unsure as Factory come in. Malombi not able to find a target.
Phillips, Mumford. Phillips, she wants a cutter. Can she find her? Yes, she finds the connection, but pick called. That might explain the acres of space.
But resolved quite quickly by the look of it. And play will restart.
That break flick hits beautiful, finds Phillips.
Yeah, that's a lovely throw. Really opens up the field. Across the face of the end zone, hitting Phillips on the chest to bring it within 3. So you see it again. Boom. It's not an easy throw.
Ah, delicious. Love it.
We'll see how Factory respond here. They had opportunities, they had it on the doorstep, they had a short field turnover, but they weren't able to convert. Maybe it's a case of the momentum shifting here. Early on, Bauhaus making a few unforced errors and perhaps it's contagious and Factory have started to drop their execution. See if they can find a way to maintain their high level of play that we've seen so far this game. Yeah, we'll pick up. Bauhaus back in their zone. Second to Dawson, but Dawson can't hold on.
Yeah, it's a shame they were through that cup. They did the hard work in the throw. Going to ground. Handler's moving across the field quickly. Finds Xue Feng. She wants a dump. Yeah, taking care of that, but the swing finds Baker. She looks across field.
And Abby Dawson, a beautiful run through block, showing her pace. Edie will pick up. Dawson immediately cutting deep again. She's clearly fired up after that block. Sekold with it, but we've got a pick call. And it looks like it may stay with the player.
This is staying here.
So the disc will stay with Sekold, though they're still discussing. Coming in, stalling one. Sekold looking back for a dump, finds Edie up line. To Dawson in the front corner. Dawson just a stat machine this game. That's her third goal, I believe, and she's thrown an assist as well, playing a huge part of Factory's offensive capabilities. We see it again, Sekold to Edie, putting Edie in a nice position, and Dawson.
That's a pretty little dink back into the space from Dawson on the open side. They just kind of moved it down. Bauhaus changing up their force there. Earlier, straight up force. This time forcing backhand, forcing to the downwind side. But in that case, the defender sitting on the inside just allowed that player to, an easy just pop up the backhand.
Yeah, absolutely. The last throw was bread and butter. You don't expect them to miss those ones, and they don't. So far, that was Liz Edie's third assist for the game and Dawson's third goal. How are Bauhaus going to shut down those two players? Because it looks like they may be the key for the Bauhaus defence.
Well, the zone worked quite effectively slowing them down earlier. I really think they should have another look at that. Slowing down the play, maybe having a couple little tweaks and looking at it to where they can shut down those small little movements. Who's dangerous, who's popping. Maybe that means more communication to the crash. But it's worth another look.
Dennis sends her lefty pull.
Side stack employed, Mei Lin to the space. It's over her head, but she
doesn't hold on.
Yeah, it was between
Factory
the
looking to
fingers.
move it nice and quickly. Dennis, forehand into the wind, gets caught, floats up and over her receiver.
Did I hear a disc on the foot then? It seemed to get a touch from Phillips. But Birchall to the space to Phillips. Oh, just one eye on the line. She juggles the catch.
Uncharacteristic job from Phillips. Usually a very safe pair of hands. Dennis picks up and shoots again.
Oh, Birchall nearly bobbling it back to the offensive player. Finds Mumford. Looks to the open side to Mei Lin. Too much gas on it.
I think they want to calm things down here. A couple of quick turnovers. They want to find their rhythm that they've had all game, Factory.
Sideline force.
Hind out in space. Watson wastes no time in shooting to her. Sekold reads it better than the rest. Sekold, a very experienced player, playing on the Masters women's teams at Beach later this year. Will she be rewarded?
Oh, to the space.
That's a beautiful throw from Malombi. That's that crossfield, fat side throw we were talking about earlier.
That's to take half.
And what a way to do it.
Haven't seen too many scores up that end of the field.
No, that's the slight upwind side as the wind comes towards us with a very slight right to left. We see that shot from Watson again. Looked like Hind may have been the intended receiver. Goes over her. Sekold reads it like the vet she is. Immediate dump to Hind to keep it moving. And then a couple of passes later, this gets into the hands of Malombi. Very experienced thrower. Great vision to see the space and throw the forehand to Sekold.
Now maybe state the obvious, Max, but I think Phillips' key to any comeback here. She's one who's regularly generating turns, getting herself in the way. Lots of blocks, intercepts. They're probably not getting enough of that at the moment. I think it's a fairly experienced lineup from Factory, and they kind of just move the disc around, fairly safe options, and looking not too worried.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we've seen from Factory the big difference that have allowed them to get out to this lead has just been their experience and their calm with the disc. Far less unforced errors than we've seen from Bauhaus. And they'll hope to continue that. And I think, as you say, Bauhaus will have to generate turns if they want to get the disc. Phillips has got a few, and she'll have to get a few more if Bauhaus want to get back into this and secure themselves a spot in the semi-finals. But Factory obviously very happy to take half 8-3. It's a perfect position, and they'll want more of the same in the second half.
We're here with this, the second half coming up between Factory and Bouse. So far, Factory taking a sizable lead, 8-3. Joining us, Phil Shields on the commentary team. Phil, what are you seeing so far? Any patterns in the game?
Yeah, look, it's been a good game so far. Factory have obviously come out of the blocks quite hard and got away to a good start, 4-0. Good fight back though by Bauhaus. Bauhaus put on hose stack to start off with. That wasn't working for them. They're getting a few cheap, easy, Factory's getting a few easy, cheap turns from Bauhaus and capitalising on that. So I think Bauhaus really have to sort of like tighten up on their cheap turns, make sure that throws connect a lot more. That seems to be their main problem at the moment. To their credit, they also tried to change things up. They went to a side stack at one stage and also went into a defensive zone position instead of forcing flick. So they're definitely trying things to fight their way back into this game. Factory in the meanwhile can't really say that they're doing anything wrong at the moment. As the half went on, there were a few more turns, but they got them back fairly well. So both teams fighting for this. Bauhaus just really have to stop making these unforced errors that are going on and capitalise on anything that Factory is doing.
Thanks, Phil. Phil's our roving commentator, seeing the game from all angles. Factory going to kick off the second half with Watson on the disc. And quite early on, an easy turnover.
It's actually an early change up of lines. This line's been coming up from the downwind side for most of the game, with Stevenson joining them. Malin Chua to the space. Sullivan goes. I think a couple of inches closer and she would have got that on the way up. It's a beautiful look though.
Yeah, that's another one of those fat side forehands that we've seen a lot of this game. Saw one earlier from Malombi and one from Birchall down the other end, I think. But now Factory, you're going to have to work hard to get it out of this end zone.
This is a hustling line from Bauhaus. They really want this disc.
Watson getting a little stuck perhaps.
The disc is up to the space. Phil is picking it off. Birchall, close side. Down the line to Malin.
Floats.
To Shuey.
Malombi went up for the D, but...
Foul called.
Foul called. We'll see if we can hear what's going on.
She was in front of you. Obviously unintentional, but I think your arms came down.
Yeah, because I feel like she jumped backwards. But I don't disagree that there was contact, but I think you were jumping backwards at the same time.
Foul if you both move towards the same space at the same time, then that would mean the disc goes back if you're saying foul.
I feel like that's what happened. Yeah.
I'm okay with you guys. So what's getting down? I just felt like
Yeah.
Yep. So I think we've agreed. Offsetting foul, it's going back. So send the disc back there. Return to where you were when the disc was thrown. Okay?
What's the force again?
Maximum 6.
This way.
What's the stall count?
Good. I did the right thing the first time.
Oh. I was going to say 3, because it wasn't much at all.
Coming in on 3.
3.
Offsetting foul called. Birchall with disc. Swings it to Baker. Shuey on the far wing to the space. Chua with the pancake catch. Oh, they're going to be happy with that one. That's an early break. That's exactly what they needed.
Yeah, coming straight out of half to take a break is always a great way to get the momentum back. And we see it again. Dennis leaps but can't quite get the block. Ends up being an easy pancake in the end zone for the goal. Stefan, Bauhaus coming up good straight out of half.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly the reasons behind the line change. Maybe they thought that point was the one that they really want to get coming out of half to get the momentum. And if that's the case, plan working perfectly. It was a strong line, and they got the turn after losing the disc. And yeah, you can see them celebrating on the sideline. This team are notorious for a lot of songs, dance moves, ridiculous team names. creativity buckets.
Yeah, it almost feels like over their history they've changed their name a half dozen times, but it's the same club.
That's Atletico United Sporting Box. I can't keep up.
No, yeah, and every variation and combination of those sporting team, Atletico Box United names. But we'll see Factory on offense. Deadman with the disc. Grange getting up, but can't quite get up enough.
Baker, who often sits back as a deep defender, saw that up in the air, picked it off. Stevenson picking up the disc, looks straight to the middle of the field to the poached Baker. Still no defender, getting there just now. Vino, one of the younger players on this squad, very strong thrower. To the centre to Cortez, to Andres. It's a crowded stack. She goes right to the middle of the stack. It's bobble. Mihach!
Oh, wow. 2 Factory players getting a hand on that. Neither of them able to actually get the disc onto the ground. Both of them knocking it further up into the wind. And then a great heads-up play. So we get another look at this. It's a difficult throw, trying to go around the stack almost. 1 hand, 2 hands. Goal.
Look, I'm not sure who Andes was looking for, but she comes away with the assist, so
yeah, very
no stress.
Ambitious looking throw there, trying to curl it around the stack perhaps to someone at the back. But it works, pays off. And Bauhaus getting 2 straight out of half. Maybe getting the jump on Factory a little bit. Maybe Factory have taken the foot off the gas pedal just a tad at half, which is obviously not what they want to be doing in a quarterfinal.
Yeah, Max, you know this this Factory team. You've seen them a couple of times. Do they have that intensity gear?
Look, I don't think we saw it yesterday, but I'm sure they've got it somewhere in their back pocket. And I think they'll need to find it if they want to keep going in this tournament. They've got to the stage now, quarterfinals, where they have to find another level and bring the fire a little bit. Look to maybe some of their younger names to bring that energy and intensity to continue this run that they've had. So you see Air centering to Malombi, and Bauhaus staying with his zone that's been working. To Ringland, Emerson, Ringland. Factory doing what they've done all game in zone, just trying to pop the little short throws and the openings when they're there. Air goes over the top to Sekold, who pulls it in nicely.
Communication between Birchall and Phillips downfield, making sure that disc didn't go any further.
Oh, and Sekold not able to hold on to that lovely through the cup shot by Malombi.
Gear back on the field after calling injury earlier. Centre of the field. Fantastic touch on that. Sano wants to get it to Phillips, but finds Chua. To Birchall, the flow. She's got time and space. There's no cutter downfield, but she finds Sano. Too much on the toes.
Yeah, and it goes to ground. Oh, big bid. But Ringland holds on. Factory have Halford Smith hanging in the deep space. And Ringland fakes the throw, but now fans Hall.
Got the break.
Yeah, to Hall. Hall getting a little more involved now. Ringland. Malombi. Movement slowing down now, which is what Bauhaus want. And it leads to a turnover.
Very fluid cut from Bauhaus. They're changing marks, moving around. Nearly looks like a circle of players with Maylin Chua filling in there as well with becoming a fourth. Chua looks for that back end. She wants down the field. She goes to the space with the forehand. 2 players there, closing in.
Oh.
Phillips cleaning up, and there's a call. Player down. Bauhaus player looks sore.
Yeah, Malombi had poached off her player on the far side to get involved in that D.
You guys all right?
And then maybe clipped ankles.
Yeah, of course. So the disc has been caught over here. Was there a call?
Well, I would call a foul myself.
Okay.
So if the disc has been caught, then
You don't need to do anything at all. So we've got a sub. The disc is staying here.
Coming in on 0.
Let's get it going.
So Malombi wanting to call a foul on herself.
Sano, disc in hand, down the line to Mei Lin Chua. Oh, it's beautiful. Silky, silky, silky down the line. And this is the Bauhaus that we've come to know and love. And yeah, they've switched on, they've brought this game, and they're making something out of it. That brings it to 6-8. Their second score to the right of screen. And yeah, they're pretty pumped at the moment, and Factory calling timeout.
Yeah, as you said, those two upwind scores crucial for turning this momentum around, and it really feels like Bauhaus is the team on the up right now. I don't know about you, but it feels like all the energy's down that end of the field, and Factory maybe just a little flat.
Absolutely. It's really curious seeing that that Factory, after all, are still 2 points up.
Yeah, Phil Shields is back. What have you seen?
Yeah, thanks for that. Look, what I'm saying is Bauhaus putting on zone very first point after half, and they're getting immediate results from that. They only tried it once or twice in the first half. They did get a turn in the first half. From that, weren't able to capitalise as well as they could have, but I think they're really finding their groove with this zone. They got 2 turns in that last point, and they're scoring off of the scraps that Factory is giving them. They're making the most of their opportunities, which is what they needed to do in the first half. So it's good to see Bauhaus turn the game around. They've now brought it back within 2 at 8-6. Well done.
Thanks, Phil.
Absolutely spot on. Phil's recommendations at half, bringing that intensity and cleaning up their play. I'm loving it. Loving to come back.
Yeah, it's exciting to see, and that's why we're here at Nationals on the Gold Coast. Bauhaus' zone obviously paying dividends.
Yeah, absolutely key for Factory to remember they're actually still 2 points up.
Yeah. The momentum's going against them, but they do have that buffer.
Yeah, it's so easy to forget. You're winning the game, but your heads are down.
I often find it's the hardest thing to keep that mental strength throughout the game, regardless of the scoreboard. Just take it 1 point at a time. I don't know how they do it sometimes. It's not easy.
Yep. Talking to a couple of teams, we've seen really even pool play this tournament, men's and women's division, and comments coming that's saying that the wind is a real field equaliser, causing a few more errors and more defensive game than you maybe expect in clean weather.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I know you know, and a lot of the university players out there know, is Australian Uni Games is often held up at this complex. It's notoriously windy up here.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I know that when they announced the venue, a lot of teams said, be prepared for some wind, and it has led to some really tight matchups across the pools.
Shuwei pulling the disc in. It's floaty. It's high.
Edie to Ringland. Back to Edie. Factory working hard to get it off this line, and they do. They get it to Seckhold to the centre. They'll want to move it quickly before the cup can reset, but unable to do so. Edie to Dennis. A little bit of float on that one, but Dennis does well. Seckhold with it now. Back to Dennis. Bridget Brown to Edie. Edie goes round the mark but misses a target.
They've got their turn they're after. Shu Wei. An aggressive player. Stevenson, the horizontal stack not quite working themselves out yet. And goes to space. Baker doesn't know where the disc is. Straight over her head.
Yeah, that throw probably just a little too long for her to reel in.
Stevenson was going to huck to space. Probably would have been more advantageous to go as deep downfield as they could.
Ooh, nice shot through the center of the cup there. Finds Seckholder, goes back to Edie. I think Bauhaus is doing what they're wanting to do here with trapping Factory on this sideline, making it very difficult to get out. Obviously, Caster's Curse kicks in, and as soon as I say that, they swing it to the other side of the field. Watson. Moving it quickly to the Edie, back to Dennis. Back to Edie. Seckhold been great at getting those mid-range shots through the cup all point long. We'll need to see more of those. Edie, Brown and Watson doing a bit of a handler weave now, and they're on the doorstep, just 1.5 meters out. Watson sneaks it through to Seckhold. That's great patience from Factory and persistence against that Bauhaus zone. It's taken them a few points to figure out how to beat it, but they do get there in the end.
Factory kicking into gear there. They essentially playing one of the poppers as a fourth handler, following that cup around with the other hanging back in the space, ready for that break. Dennis earlier on, before I lost track of who popped in there. But they were quite happy just to take their time, and it looked like they knew what they were doing, no stress. To be honest, Bauhaus putting on a little bit of, like, going to the depth players a little bit more on that point. I don't think they'll be too stressed. They've got 2 breaks. You can't keep that intensity up all game. Let your key players have a rest, have a break, go to the legs. Those players are now stepping off, having a drink, rest.
Yeah, and well deserved. I mean, they had to run hard. It was a long point, lots of swinging back and forth.
Yep.
It's always hard working the cup when you're out there.
That more experienced line that we're seeing that have played a lot of O, stepping on, obviously, O now.
And they've got work to do. They've still got a couple of points to make up, as you said. It's easy to forget when the momentum swings what the scoreboard says. But Factory, 3-point lead, 9-6.
And a lot of time to go.
Yeah, lots of ultimate to be played. I'm not complaining. I love it.
After multiple points of horror, Bauhaus going back to the vertical. That zone putting a little bit of chaos into that, though, into that hammer breaking it over the cup. Gear, Hook saw earlier, but on the field. The scuba, dangerous, and didn't make the target.
Malombi to Ringland, going to ground but keeping it alive. To Dennis. Obviously a huge part of this Factory team. She's a firetail, knows what she's doing. To Hall. To Malombi, just 1 meter or 2 out now. She's faking, she's faking, she's faking, goes over the top. That's a nice grab from Barcham. Oh, sorry, not Barcham, Hind for the goal. And And I think what was really interesting there, we saw a different approach to beating the zone from Bauhaus. So Factory set down the zone, and Bauhaus tried to go over the top a couple of times. And in the end, it didn't pay off for them.
Yeah, well,
But having said that, they have some pretty strong throwers out there.
yeah, I've seen Birchall playing VUL, the Victorian Ultimate League in Victoria, for Bendigo, or I believe. She's got really strong overhead throws. She's got height, which means generally can just pop it over the top of the cup, no worries. That one didn't come out of the hand right. I'd say, 9 out of 10. She's going to hit that scuba.
Yeah, I think maybe the wind just got her a little bit, but you're right. One of the challenges in that situation is not to let your head get down. You've got to stay confident in your throws, know that you've got them, and keep going for your shots.
Yeah, while we like to call that end the downwind end, where they just scored 2. The breeze is not really all that effectual at the moment. Maybe 5 to 10 knots. Knots, if you're out in the ocean.
Yeah. What's that in something else?
Not much.
Yeah, technical term that. Not much wind out here at the moment.
I'm totally making up the knots as well. I'm not a sea person. I wouldn't have a clue. Put it like this, my hat is staying on.
Now we've got a few nautical-minded people watching from Papua New Guinea. They sent me a message. Oh, I've heard they've been on the social media, so shout out to them.
Big backhand from Birchall. Dennis picking it off in front of Phillips.
Yeah, Dennis showing great speed. That's what she's known for. Bauhaus get it back immediately and shoot. Bounces out of the hands.
Sullivan looking disappointed.
Yeah, we've seen a fair few of those this game. From both teams, actually. Some simple drops that they'll need to clean up. This Factory get it moving. Bauhaus in a different kind of look now. Bit of a containment zone. Get it to Dennis. As we speak, the wind just gusting up a little bit. I wonder how they'll get there. Grange to Edie. Dennis. They've got Dawson running deep, but don't want it. To Bar, to Grange. What do you think of that?
Ooh. It's, I just think composure. I don't see, that big bustly fire that you see with some teams, but I see just calm composure. They trust their players and skills. That was really impressive. Just patience, work it through. That cup, that containment, as you say, not really doing its job.
Yeah, not able to contain them. Got Phil Shields back again. What are you thinking, Phil?
Yeah, we've seen Bauhaus's zone work at the beginning of this half, but Factory have cottoned on to that and they're now working it through. Their strategy is to work it through with their handlers, tie them out, find a hole, work it through that. So Factory have adapted very well to that. Interesting note, Birchall, number 72, in the first half had a few errant throws, not her usual style, and was just asked then if she could try and put it a bit longer. She gave her 2 shots in that point then, which didn't quite come off, and I think a bit of a sore shoulder injury might be hampering her at the moment.
Thanks, Phil. And yeah, as you say, Birchall been one of Bauhaus's key players, I think, Steph.
Yeah.
That could be significant.
Key thrower. So on that zone there, we did see Phillips playing deep, and I wonder if she's a little bit wasted there when you do have the breeze against them. They're needing that interceptor
Yeah, and as you say, earlier in the game, she was able to get a couple of good blocks when she was playing in the middle of the field.
Phillips now back handling. Gear swings the disc to her. She goes straight back to the break side to Mumford. Gear following up. Through the cup to Chua, who's going to keep that disc moving. Tan looking downfield, there's nothing there. She's going to pop it back to the safe hands of Chua. That's not a bad move at all. Back to Gear, sitting on the open space. Goes around. Phillips sitting behind the disc. Tan, Chua, Tan. Phillips definitely trying to keep that disc on that upwind side. She wants it on the break. Look.
That was lovely offense by Bauhaus.
I'm disappointed. They look so good.
Yeah. I think that's somewhat the story of the game. They've looked so good every time, and then one little error just at the doorstep. Not able to finish off their good work and convert it into the scoreboard. As Watson reaches deep, she's got Hall underneath it.
Oh, pressure grab.
Who does a great job with Phillips coming in for the block. Foster with the disc. That was a great grab by Hall. Now Watson goes again to Hall, but one too many times. Not able to complete.
It's got to be said, this game, their mid-distance throws, there's not that many that have ended up that way, missing targets. They've been selective, taking their time, and I don't know the stats, but I would bet on a high completion rate. Yeah, beautiful through the cup. And Shuei, that's a long-term connection there. Maybe in Chua thinking about the around, but goes conservative. Crowd of defenders. Shuei wants the break, it's busy space, finds Phillips. A lot of defenders just marking the under space. Phillips continually trying to pierce that cup and very successful. Her intensity picking up definitely on this point.
Bauhaus got a massive height advantage on this line, but not choosing to use it in terms of deep shots, instead playing nice and safe.
The wall spread out. Phillips finds the space. Sano, calm head, a very calm composure. Shuei finds Phillips in the centre. Mumford upfield. Phillips finding that space again, wanting that upfield space. And that's why they can just pop it around.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's that really beautiful Bauhaus offense. And this time it does come off, and they do manage to get it all the way into the end zone as we see it again. Just lots of 5-10 meter throws, easy targets, hitting them on the chest every time. It's really nice.
Yeah, really impressed with Phillips' play there. I thought she was, been cruising along, playing downfield. Player of her caliber, doing well where she is, defending a lot of discs, but really getting in there, doing the dirty work on offense.
Yeah, a bit surprised. Usually known as a deep receiver, but choosing to come back into that handler space a bit more.
Oh, it's her aggressive mindset. She wanted to pierce that space and move it to the upside every single time she had the disc. You can see her cutting movements, always looking to abuse the space. It's a fantastic example.
Yeah, and I guess that's why she's part of this leadership team for Bauhaus. Just able to get the job done, do what the team needs from her, right?
When you've got class players, yeah, got to go. Especially a time like this. You've got quarters. This is 11-7.
Yeah,
do or die.
Yeah, do or die. That's exactly what I was about to say. And for Factory, they'll just want to punch another couple in. It doesn't feel comfortable and safe yet. Move it quickly to about the halfway mark.
Straight on force. force into the upwind side.
Dennis to Seckold. Ellie Seckold reaching for Lorna Barr. Does she keep it in? Yes, she does. It's a nice play.
A couple of early straight-on forces from Bauhaus, changing to the upwind side force. But open passes down that sideline.
Yeah, if you're going to force one way, you've got to stop the open side
Absolutely.
with your upfield defenders. I think got to put a little more effort into stopping those unders, or
Too easy offense after the hard work to get that last score. More pressure is needed.
yeah, it was just unders all the way. And when you're in the quarterfinals at Nationals, you can't give a team easy unders or they'll punch it into the end zone, as we saw there.
It's in a strange way a game of two halves in the scoring patterns here. A lot of scores to the right of screen second half, nearly exclusively scores to the left of screen first half.
Yeah. And with the wind coming towards the camera mostly, you wouldn't have thought that it would be such a stark contrast.
Birchall going long to May Linshaw. She's in the space, beautiful cut. And to the Phillips, outstretched run. Class offense. They opened up that the space with the side stack and just used it. Take a cut of that and take it to your team. Show them what that stack's meant to look like.
Yeah, that's textbook. Clearly Bauhaus saying, all right, we need this one. Time for the Stars to step up, and they did just that. Like, doesn't get much cleaner, much prettier than that from an offensive perspective. And obviously, Phillips has got speed to burn.
Coming off the back of the stack, she had fantastic separation on a defender. Timing is everything. It's opened up the space and makes an easy catch rather than pressure offense, as they've seen the last couple of points.
Yeah, Phillips, as we said before, came back into the handler space when her team needed her, and then at this point going deep when her team needed her to do that. So, can do a bit of everything, which makes it incredibly hard to stop from a defensive perspective. Because if you put a handler defender on her, she'll go long. If you put a big time receiver on her, she'll come under and throw the goal. Difficult one to stop. And I imagine if Bouse are going to get back into this, they're going to have to keep going to that well, relying on their stars to get the job done. Players like Phillips and Maylin, Chua.
Yeah, and you're looking at scores and assists, you're seeing a lot of your veteran names being called.
Zone look again from Bauhaus. Barcham with the disc finds Hall. Barcham, one of the vice captains on this team. Back to Barcham. Only a second-year player on this team, but playing an increasingly important role. Malombi now. Back to Barcham. Back to Malombi. Lena Hall going horizontal, but can't pull it in.
Bauhaus definitely wanting a strong line here, and they've got their pressure. their veterans putting a lot of pressure on with that zone defence. With players, multiple players into the space. Birchall going long. Sullivan there as well. Defender stepping right in the middle, making contact. Dennis coming through.
Was there a call? No. Bauhaus player clutching at her shoulder for a moment there, but looks like happy to shake it off and say,
fair play.
I'm all right with it. Yeah. It's good to see. Generally a pretty well-spirited game, I think, so far. Calls that have been made, being resolved very quickly without too much discussion. A short field turn.
Stevenson. Shuo, intensity up. Busy movement. That'll do the job.
Big bid from Hall on the defense. So we get another look at that one. Going to go out on a limb and say, not sure how close she was to that. That's a great replay. But look, that may make player of the day. I'm going to nominate that one right there for impressive looking bid. We can have a look at that one later.
Megan Stewart having a huge game. 3 scores, 2 assists. Leading scores for Bauhaus. Megan Stewart with 2 assists. Shuei Yongfrun with 2, and 2 to Julia Birchall. Key players that we've mentioned those names quite a few times.
Yeah, and I imagine, just going out on a limb here, but if Bauhaus manage to pull this one close, those players won't be getting a lot of time on the sidelines.
Factory, are they likely to shorten lines if it gets closer, or do they trust their lines, their 2 lines as you mentioned earlier?
I do think they'll be relying more on their big name players, but they do have these subbing groups, so I think they have a couple of different subbing groups as opposed to strict lines.
Sure.
We'll just see them shorten up. Players like Dennis and Malombi and Edie maybe getting a bit more game time as it gets towards the business end. And Air picking up. Bauhaus just going back to single coverage, saying we can win this with our legs, which is good to see. Dennis with the disc. Watson breaks the mark nicely to Dennis. To Ringland. Wing gets under that one, but Dennis is underneath it. Hits Halford Smith in the end zone. Nicely done. Factory able to use a few breakthroughs to keep it moving quickly and find the space when they needed it. And then eventually Halford Smith on the open side in plenty of space. Halford Smith, one of the rookies, so it's good to see that while they are going to rely on their stars through to the end of this game, the younger players doing their part and contributing. What do Bouse have to do, Steph? They've got a 4-point deficit to make up.
Well, look, it's 13-9. Obviously, score cap at 15. Punch this offense in, and I think they've got to go their best defensive line to follow up to shut down that next defense, get the score with the breeze coming in their face. That line that we just saw, they've come on upwind last few points, and the results just not coming. And really, I think you've got to go now rather than wait till 14.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's no use saving the legs of anyone at this point. Just got to put it all out on the field and trust in your players to get it done when they have to. As you said, I think you've got to go now because you can't guarantee going unstopped. And if you let it get to 14, then Factory are on the doorstep.
Same token, Factory's going to be looking really hard to get this one, get the turn, push to 14 and put the pressure on the scoreboard.
Win gets underneath that first pass.
Oh, and that's the turnover they wanted.
Yeah, great opportunity for Factory. If they can get this one in, won't be looking good for Bauhaus. Grange with the disc. Oh, nice grab by Crow.
Chewer getting the hand involved. Ooh. Oh, and there's the break.
Edie going short to Grange, and the wind gets under it a little bit, but she does a good job to pull it in. And as you say, that's a break. That's huge.
Timeout called. Wow, that puts Factory in a strong, strong position.
Yeah. They'll be on defense, but they'll be on the doorstep. Do you think any adjustments for Bauhaus here, or do they just put their best 7 on there, trust them to get the job done?
I think they've looked strongest in their zone movement. I think they should be brave and use it, and use Phillips in the mid of the field, trying to shut down, make those throws really dangerous. See, the thing with Bauhaus, their veteran players, the one they go to, may not necessarily be their most athletic players on defence. So match defence may be not the best option, or do they trust their faster, younger legs?
Yeah, I think that's a good point there. The zone suits them, bringing on those veteran players who may not have the legs to keep up with the quick cuts of Factory, but their veteran experience will allow them to take advantage in a zone, read the play really well, and get those blocks that they really desperately need. But
Phil Shields, from your perspective watching, what do you think this to stop this becoming the last point? What's needed?
It's a good question. It's a hard one to answer. If you looked at the camera then, you'd have seen a big difference in both Bauhaus and Factory in the way they took this time out. Factory really quite comfortable, having fun, quite settled in and relaxed in their timeout huddle, whereas Bauhaus trying to lift the intensity. So that's really the key. They need to lift the intensity but not overthink it. Just working it through, taking those safe options. Just probably another example of Birchall's shoulder problem was in the last throw she did. Quite a simple throw to a dump which went over the head, resulting in a score to Factory. So they've got a few out. Update on Cassie Chan's injury actually earlier in the game. She was just cleated in the left ankle on the outside. She's resting it with ice. Nothing permanent, just bruising at the moment.
Thanks, Phil. Hopefully those injuries are not too bad. Birchall, disc. Popping around, very close handler movement. It's an experienced lineup here for Bauhaus.
Factory have gone to an interesting zone look we haven't seen yet. Looks like it's a force middle. And it's rewarded. And they get the disc. Move it to Seckold. This is Factory's opportunity as they shoot to Dennis. Just about 10, 12 metres out from the end zone. Stall count getting high. Malombi working hard to get open. Dennis gets it to her. Malombi shoots. This is for the game. Over the head of Dennis.
Oh, and the taller Birchall standing in the way, having none of that. She waves her hand saying, I don't want that. Someone else can have it.
Yeah, as we see here, Birchall does a really good job of maintaining position in front of Dennis and using her height.
Chua to the power position. 10. Oh, catch well above her stature there. Mumford upwind side. Birchall fake to gear. Sano happy just dinking it around at the moment. Short game. Patient, waiting for that that space. Phillips sitting very deep. She was instrumental in breaking through this cup last time they scored up this end through the zone. Birchall goes around 10. Spent it before she had it. That might be costly.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. As Edie shoots again to Dennis.
Phillips. Oh, and Phillips comes down with the disc. Moves it on fast, doesn't want that cup to form. Chua, upwind side. Centres to Birchall. Has Phillips on the close wing. That's where gear goes. Phillips is back behind the disc now. Going to that upwind side again, like we've previously seen. Finds Mumford. Safe hands. Birchall. Fakes that high release. Wants the space. That cup start closing in fairly well.
Yeah, we see the Factory Cup forcing back in towards the centre. Barcham and Malombi sharing the marking duties.
Gear on the line. Tries to reach through that cup. Patience. The high release is over. Chua takes the grab.
Oh, just as we were saying, patience. They said, nope, none of that. We're going over the top. We want to get this point in the books.
Again, Birchall using her height to with that high release. It's her advantage and she uses it. Now, it's an interesting zone used by Factory. If you look at the where Bauhaus has been getting the scores, they've actually been all along the sidelines. They like to use the width of the field. And that seems to be identified. They're trying to close that disc in and stop this, the width being used to find the spare player on the wing.
Yeah, and I guess it's an interesting mix-up as well. After playing the one-way zone the whole game, I guess they're wanting to mix it up.
And what a time to change.
Yeah, exactly. Make Bauhaus try and adapt on the run without any time to do so. They can't take 2 or 3 points to figure it out, because right now, Factory's obviously 1 point away, so an interesting move to try and contain their movement, contain their use of the width, but obviously, as we saw there, Michelle Phillips doing a great job of getting it to that far side.
I think the strength there that she brought there was intensity. All those handlers for Bauhaus capable of dishing it around, being safe. Phillips bringing the intensity, wanting to break open. Another level of aggression.
Obviously, it's always a balancing act between the aggression and the composure.
Oh, you need both.
They get it just right that time.
Oh, that is a perfect pull.
Yeah, downwind corner. And they clamp down with this cup. Factory will work hard to get it out of here. Gets it back to Watson.
That cup working very effectively so far.
Yeah, Factory not getting much. 1-2 metre passes. But Malombi finds a way to Dennis up the line, making plenty of metres. She's got Dawson in the centre going deep, but doesn't want it. Instead, content to play safe. Watson out in front of Malombi. Malombi go to ground. Holds on. Almost looked like she stumbled and laid out as she fell. Bauhaus now go to match defense as they approach the end zone. Dawson with it, maybe 3 metres away from a semi-final spot. Watson with the disc, finds Malombi at the front of the end zone, and Factory are going to the semis. 15-10. Bauhaus really doing their best in that last point, but not able to stop them.
Yeah, I really think that came down to Factory having an even spread of players and class, composure across their whole list, using their whole list of players really well. And Bauhaus not able to stop their flow when they had the disc. There wasn't a lot they could do with it in the second half.
Yeah, you saw when Factory had the disc, it was no player holding it for more than 2 or 3 seconds. It was really nice to see. Nice quick tempo, bam, 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 up the field. And as you said, their depth as well. Some of their rookies really stepping up. Halford Smith got a couple. Dawson got more than a couple. Barcham playing a big role, both in the cup on defense and coming back as a handler when the team needed her. So taking advantage of the full depth of their roster and their nice composure got them the result in the end.
Well, Max, fantastic game made there. Bauhaus coming back, putting the pressure onto Factory, and it sets us up for a semi-final. I'm looking forward to seeing results from the other games. See what matchups we have for later in the day.
Yeah, we'll be bringing you those female semi-finals at 1 p.m. today, but before that, we've got some of the men's quarterfinals, so do stay tuned. We'll be covering both the Chile Mammoth game and the I-Beam Plunder game. We'll be keeping you company for both of those, so thanks for tuning in to the Ultimate Australia coverage of the Australian Ultimate Championships here at the beautiful Runaway Bay complex on the Gold Coast. I've been Max Stenstrom.
Stefan van Boxtel here, signing off. See you on the next stream.